Avinash can confirm first.
Yeah,
Okay, recording. Yeah, fine. That's fine.
yeah. Avinash is doing it right. So I take an opportunity to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Atul Grover. He's a very passionate technocrat and has been working with Fujitsu from a long time, having a very strong passion to contribute for the student rural development of the students. And we have heard him many times. I have been observing him on LinkedIn, like very passionately he has been contributing for the social development, and he always desires to contribute for the youth empowerment as far as technology is concerned. And we were discussing from long back, like when we can have a session. And then like Atul sir, it is really great, and thank you very much that you have taken a time for our students, and you will be guiding our students on further technologies, how market is expecting, what students should prepare, and how they should be ready for getting into industries. So before we start the session, I request everybody, if you can switch on your videos, we can take one selfie and then we can start up. So Atul sir, please, you also.
Sir, I have very old configuration laptop with me, so it's not allowing me to for
Okay.
the video now. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry
Okay.
for the same.
No issue. So other students, please switch on your video, and I request Avinash to please take a snap. Everybody, please. Kumar sir, Avinash done?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Done? Shall we
Done.
proceed for the session? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. So I request Atul sir to please take a charge and start the session, please, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you
Atul sir,
so much,
over to
student.
you.
Yep. Okay. Hope you are able to hear me now. And so first I'll start. Thank
Yes,
you so
yes,
much,
yes.
sir, for giving me the opportunity to interact with the students during this lockdown time period. Even though we already interacted in person as well in the last, I guess, 25th of January, I was in your college for the
Right,
interaction, and second time I'm interacting with this
right,
batch or the students with now. Okay, so friends, first thing I want to be tell very clear that this session is not like a lecture. Okay, this is a knowledge sharing session which I learned from my 12 year of experience and want to share with you. So you can ask the question that what will happen and how you can do this thing. If I know, then definitely I will answer. If I don't know, then definitely I'll give you the context so that you can later on contact me on my WhatsApp or the LinkedIn, and then we can continue with the discussions as well. Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen with you guys. Okay, I guess that someone is sharing the screen. Okay, you are view. Can I guess someone is sharing the screen, sir. Saurabh is there who's sharing the screen. Can you ask her to
Saurabh,
stop the screen sharing?
Saurabh, please, will you stop your screen? Saurabh ji. Hello.
Because I can see
Saurabh.
Saurabh Khartobe, someone is there.
Yeah, yeah. Saurabh. Hello. Avinash, is it possible to connect him? Like he's not responding. Hello,
Or maybe
Saurabh.
you can take it
I'm.
out from the.
Yes, sir. I'm doing. Yeah.
Yep. Now it's look fine. Okay, now it's fine,
All
sir.
right. Okay, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. 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 So just let me know when you're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfectly fine, sir. So guys, one thing I want to be start from here that I hear this saying somewhere that on time is always a late. Okay, it means that whenever someone inviting you for any kind of event, it can be a birthday, it can be a party, it can be lecture, it can be session, it can be anything. So be there at least 5 minutes before the given time. that is the one thing which I learned from my experience, that on time is always late. So like in this session also we wait, sir log in 5 minutes before, I log in 5 minutes before, and sir say let's wait till 10:05. So that doesn't mean that we have to wait for you guys or we are waiting for you. We can wait, that's not an issue, but on time is always late. So better try to be connect before the 5 minutes from the session time. So this was the thing. Now I'll start the session with the something phrasing or something important lines here, that sometime in my, sorry, 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Sometime in life everything goes very smoothly, like we are doing our life as usual. Approximately before March, everybody was going office, everybody was going to school, colleges, the lectures were as per the plan, everything is as per the plan. Okay. But and sometimes unexpected things happen, like immediately we got or suddenly we got the COVID-19 thing into the market or into the world, into the India as well, and everything has been stopped working in between. You cannot go outside your home, you cannot go to the college, you people cannot go to the office. Everything is unexpected, and the important thing is that knowing how to turn problems into the opportunity is the one thing. So your management, your college, even not your management, your college, even every college, every management, every education institute, every offices are trying to turn this problem into the opportunities. So they think that why our students should waste the time in by roaming here and there or watching the things on the mobile phone or the TV. So they started the conducting the online sessions for you guys. It can be educational, it can be inspirational sessions, it can be technological sessions. So this way we converted our problem into the opportunity. So now according to me, COVID is still a problem, but we people converted that problem into the opportunity to interact with each other over the technologies. And this is the best example we can see here, that now everybody is sitting at home, but we are still connecting with each other in a better manner. So that was the from my side. So now the thing came that okay, this session is basically for you guys who are in the second year or third year or final year students who are going to be join the company very soon, or maybe going to appear for exams or the placement exam basically very soon. So the question come into your mind, which tool and technology are we using currently in IT? Are we means here I'm appointing myself. Okay. So Atul, can you tell me that what are the technology you guys are using so that I can learn the stuff and can be can it can be helpful for me to get a placement? If I join an organization, what are the expectations from me? Very much important, because you are the freshers. We cannot say that okay, you if you don't know anything, we can still take it to you. That's not a case as of now. The market, the situation is very much changed. So we have some expectations from the freshers as well. And the last one, that is, what are the qualities you check before hiring any candidate? Definitely when I have to be appoint, I have to be select any candidate in my team, I see few of the things in that candidate so that I can know, okay, if I polish this guy a little bit, or I just guide this guy a little bit, what can he do, what he can do for me now. Okay, so this is what the all three questions which we are going to be discussed now. And about me, I'm Atul Grover, uh, currently working as a business analyst and a ServiceNow solution architect. I help my team to design the system. So if you say that how Zoom is working, how WhatsApp is working, how Gmail is working, how YouTube is working, so someone is there like me, or I say that I am the like I am the one of the I am the one of them who designed that particular software, that how this will be defined, how the database will be defined, how the network will be defined, how the front end will be defined, how user can log in, what are the requirements for the user login, everything we define. So we are as an architect define that particular stuff. And ServiceNow is one of the tool on which I am working from the last 5 years now. And I say that I am a ServiceNow architect because I'm helping my customers to build their application, their softwares onto that particular tool. Okay, so what is important for you? Okay, or maybe, or you can say, Atul, that I am not interested into the coding. Then what I can do? You can be a developer, you can be a test analyst, you can be functional consultant. You can see here, you can be architect, which is I'm working at point of time. You can be SME, domain or technology support engineer, quality auditors. These are very heavy words at point of view from your end. Definitely, I'm agree. When 2008, when I passed my MCA, these all words are very much heavy, very new for me. But as I move into the industry, I start getting these words actually meaning that okay, what is the meaning of this particular word or the designation or the position exists into this particular stuff. Okay, nowadays everything work as a AAS, as a service. So if I why I including these sites, I guess someone is pinging. Guys, can you stop putting the chatting, because every time I got a pop up on the top. If you have any
Uh,
question, just
Atulji, we are unable to
yes, sir.
see your screen. People are unable to see the screen.
1 minute. So let me try again.
Now it is okay. Now it is okay.
Is it fine, sir?
Now we can see it.
So
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, no problem, no problem.
okay.
Mm,
So I'll take you this part.
yeah.
So guys, basically these three questions are there which we want to be discussed in this particular slides. That number one, which are the tools and technology we are using in IT? It means you can ask this question to me as a IT person, that Atul, what are the technologies available into the market so that we can learn that technology and go into the market and get a job. If I join an organization, what are the expectations from me? Definitely, when someone hire you, guys, when someone hire any candidate, any resource, any person, any student into the market, they have some expectations as well. And the last one, that what are the qualities you check before hiring any candidate? Definitely, if I want to be hire someone in my team, I need some qualities to be checked. Is he a good listener? Is he good learner or not? What are his academic background as well? How he can be learned? How he can solve the problems? All these things I want to know from that particular person. So these are the main things, three things which we're going to be discussing now and will help you for the entering into the market. Okay, so you can be work like a developer, tester, functional consultant, architect, SME, or maybe support engineer, the quality audit risk compliance guys. So these words may be very much heavy for you at point of time. I understood, but these have their own meaning, their own designation, and their own work criteria and the selection criteria as well. But in this session, in the next 1 hour, we will discuss only the technologies which are available into the market, and by learn that technologies you can be get a job from the starting perspective. So now in market everything work as a AAS. It means like as a service. So we called as SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. That is ICE. SaaS stands for the software as a service. So now I open a question for you guys. You are using a Gmail. Are you paying anything for the Gmail? Or maybe if I say that, are you maintaining the Gmail by upgrading the Gmail to some other server or the clouds or maybe some other web services? The answer will be no. So answer is say, Atul, we are just using the Gmail in our mobile phone, we're using the Gmail in our laptops, and we're checking our mails, but we're not maintaining anything. It means we're not touching anything on the infrastructure part. The same way companies are giving a offer at point of time. So now if I say that if you want to build your own customization, if you want to change the Gmail as per your things, then you can take Gmail as a base, and then you can put your college email IDs on that particular stuff. You can make a group, you can customize a little bit on the things as a software, but you are not caring about the infrastructure part of that particular Gmail, that how to upgrade, how much data is required, how much server are required. These are not is your job. So nowadays company or the tools or the applications are offered as a service, software as a service. Now platform as a service. So I say that service now on which I am working at point of time is a software as a service. They are giving a inbuilt software. They are giving a software and say, okay, go and use the same as it is. No need to be change anything. I will take care everything in the background. It's infrastructure or anything. So if I say like you are coming to colleges, you are studying your courses, you are just paying for the service. Teacher come in your class, give you the lecture and go out. The same way semester goes and year goes and your degree has been completed. Are you worried about that? Where is my college? How the college's building is working? Who is taking care of the building part? We are not caring about this thing. It means we are just using that education service as a service for me. So we are the consuming it. Now the PaaS, platform as a service. It means if you want to build something onto that platform. So if I say that if I give you land and you start building your home, that is a platform for you. So land is a platform and you are building your own service. Someone build the shop, someone build the garage, someone build the maybe the flat, someone build the building, someone build the clubhouse, someone build the swimming pool. So this is platform as a service. So nowadays you can be download kind of a Android simulator on your on your laptops, and you can start building your own applications. Maybe due to COVID-19, people cannot go to the market, or they have to be go to the market and they have to be stay in the queue for a long time. So you can build a normal application, and you can add the shops name shops into the database, and you can ask people to register for the shops. And when their turn will come, they will get a message or the ring or the call from the shopkeeper, sir, your number is coming, please come and collect here, or come and please get your order from here. So that is called the platform as a service. And the last is IaaS as a service, that is migrate on it. So the simple example is that basically if you already you have a flat, okay, it means in flat is for me like a infra, okay, infrastructure is for me, so I'm using that as a service. You cannot do anything on that particular part. If you want to do, you have to pay something else for the same, but you can use that particular stuff as the infrastructure. And nowadays company offering this thing. So AWS is the best example of the IaaS, because they are saying go and use my cloud. How to update the cloud, how much to update the cloud, when to update the cloud, it's my headache, it's not your headache as an end user. So as of now, these three things are working into the market: SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Okay. So guys, if you have any question, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question to me on the same time. Okay. So this is a very good slide for you guys to know that, okay, what are the tools and technologies currently available into the market, which are the hot cakes, which are for which companies are hiring. And definitely guys, you can learn these things at home, at least not the advanced level, but at the beginner level you can get the some knowledge from the Google or the YouTubes or the some other courses, and you can learn these things, and it is easy for you when you go into the market for a job. And now from the coming slides we will discuss few of these technologies, that what are these, what are the meaning of that technology, and how you can use that technology, and how you can learn that technology into the future. Okay. So the first one is, that is basically DevOps. DevOps says, this is the picture of the DevOps. DevOps basically, okay, I take a normal example for you guys. Let's say that I as a company want to launch a Gmail. It's on my Gmail. So what I will do first, I will plan something that how my Gmail will be look like. Then I will code that part. It means coding means I'll hire some developer and they will code me that how the front end will be there, how the inbox will be there, how the outbox will be there, how the sent item will be there, how the draft will be there. Then I build it. Build it means kind of I will club every code and build a kind of a exe format, and then I will test it. Okay, the way I want to be use this application, is it working the same way or not? That is called the testing part basically. And then I release for the beta testing basically. So I release for few of my friends. Okay, I'll say, okay, can you download this exe and do a kind of a test for me? I'm releasing for some of the users so that they can do the real time testing and give me the feedback. And then finally I deploy into the production server when I got everything signed off. Okay, yes, everything is working fine as expected from the application which we built. Then I deploy into the production environment, and then it will be available for all of the world people. And then finally I operate. It means I do the maintenance part. Definitely enhancement is always be required. So if I take example, when I start my journey in 2008, I learned, I know only few stuff from my MCA studies, but going year by year, year by year, now I a lot of things in my mind, in my concept as well. That is, I'm operating myself, I'm enhancing myself again and again with the new technologies. And finally I am monitoring. When I go for the interview, I monitor myself. Okay, how much I know, how much I don't know, what are the concepts I don't know in the interview, so that I can learn that thing. And to work on the DevOps part, these is the life cycle for the particular stuff. So you can say something like this: code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. And for every section, you can see for the coding part, you have the Confluence, Jira, and Git. Definitely you people hear about the GitHub. Jira is a tool which is be required, which can be used for the storing part of the code. Then build. Building is basically you can when you club everything into the one place. That is SBT and Maven is one of the tool. Then for testing, you have the Selenium JUnit. These are the again tool for the automation of the testing purpose. Release Jenkins when you want to deploy these changes into the next level of environment. Deployment finally into the production environment, you can use the Docker, AWS, operate Chef, Ansible, and Kubernetes. And finally monitor Datadog, Splunk, and the Nagios. Basically these are the tools which help you to monitor that, okay, how much time my one query is taking to be execute, so that you can be enhance that particular stuff. In short, DevOps person is the one who know each and everything and at least know one of the tool for every of the these 6 to 7 life cycle. But guys, remember, these are not the limited tools. I just pick up this image to show you that, okay, this is the way that we can use. But actually into the market, a lot of tools are available for any of these sections actually. So for the coding, you can the Git, Jira, SVN Tortoise, for the build, Maven, and other kind of the maybe the these things I can say. Scripting language you can use for the building part as well. So you can be start learning as a DevOps as a beginner that what is the meaning of the DevOps. So okay, I'll pick up one more thing. Why the DevOps come? DevOps is the combination of the two words, dev and ops. Dev means development, ops means operation. So it means if a person who know the development and the operations means this thing, enhancement and the modding, then I say that this guy is the DevOps guy, and these are the tools part of that particular DevOps. So any question till this point? Your silence is saying that your everything is all clear, not a clear as well. So guys, please be open for the questions, and I want to tell you one more thing in this
Atulji,
discussion.
Atulji,
Ji sir, ji sir.
can we take questions at the end?
Sure, sir. No problem, sir.
No problem, huh?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And I was telling one more thing, guys. Please, in this discussion, if you ask any question, even though it is been not the right question, nobody will going to be scold you at the end of the day. Don't worry, even your sir will not scold anything, because the thing is that if you ask question, definitely then you will can learn more things. So don't stop asking the questions. Please note down your questions. In the end, at the end of the session, we will definitely take these questions later. Okay, very much important point, and the very much important technology at point of time, or I say the methodology at point of time, or the way to do the data work is called the data science. I write it here, the ability to take data, to be able to understand, to process, to extract value. Guys, there is a value, it has a very meaningful term here. From it to visualize it to communicate it, that's going to be a huge important skill in the next decades. Okay, now if I ask a question, or maybe I'll take a random thing from my end. Can you tell me how much people or how much population are using Android? You say maybe a billion people, 10 billion people, 7 billion people, 9 billion people, 10 billion people. So how you get that data? How you come to on that conclusion? Here the things come the data science. This isn't just a normal example I'm putting, but data science is very much I can say a hot cake into the present market, because everyone want to play with the data actually. If you know the data, you can influence the public. If I know that how many people are more than between 18 to 25 in my village, so that I can take their vote, I need to be work on the data science. And what are their interest, which thing they like. So suppose if you say that I'm on the Facebook and I'm always be, I like only one video, that is be comedy. You will be surprised after 10 seconds or 20 seconds, you will again get a comedy kind of a clip on your Facebook feed. How this coming? This is coming from the data sciences. So they analyzing and come to the place that, okay, Atul Grover is more interested into the hilarious or the comedy clips. So give that let give him that particular feed only. So these are the steps involved into the data science. First, we have to prepare the data. then we have to do data modeling, and then we have to data analyze, and finally we have to put data analysis, then we have to put the data actually into the picture. So in the next slide, we'll see that how this data science actually works. So you can see data acquisition. Acquisition means I need to collect the data, then data preparation, then data modeling, then deploy and maintain, then visualize, and then again data analysis. Now I take a normal example. Definitely you guys need to be prepared for your seminars into the colleges. It is a part of the curriculum. I am sure, not the everyone, but the final students have to prepare some seminar or the present some seminars. So the day when you get a seminar topic, you people start getting the data acquisition. It means for from every source, YouTube, Gmail, or Google, or any website, you start downloading the data. It can be valuable, it cannot be valuable, it related or it's not related. You start putting the data downloading at your end. Then you do the data preparation. What to do in this area, you will segregate the data, which is be useful, which is not useful for me. So now unuseful data, you cut it out. Okay, this is not my part. Then you put the data modeling. Data modeling means now as per the topic's content, you start with the data modeling. Okay, introduction will be this, type will be this, procedure will be this, process will be this, advantage will be this, disadvantage will be like this. Then you start putting this data into your file, the document file actually, and start maintaining. Every day you read something and you start maintaining. Okay, let's remove this data and put something else. And then you visualize. When I present this data, or when I present this seminar in front of my friends, how they visualize this, will they able to understand or not? If they understand, then fine. If they not understand, then you again go for the data analysis. What should I need to collect into this data? So this is a normal example I'll pick up from the seminar. But in the market, this is not example actually. In the market, we have to do the data acquisition, data entry, then we have to process data mining, data clustering, data modeling, then we have to analyze. Okay, how much can be done these things? So if you say that people are predicting that after when the COVID-19 will be end, maybe in India unemployment rate will be increased by this much rate. How they're predicting? Because they have the data capture and they have the data processing at the place, they have the predictive analysis. This can be happen. Maybe after 2021, India will be a big power, because every company is coming from China to India. So India will be more rich, people will be get more employment, people income will be increased. So that is the analyzing, they're putting the analyzing part, and they're communicating by the reportings. They're analyzing the reports from the past reports, they're preparing the future reports as well, and the current reports as well. So if you see nowadays that like our chief minister, so not chief minister, basically finance minister, or the our defense minister, they're coming and announcing some packages for our for our people of the country people, and they're putting some reports that this much loan has been waived off, or this much has been deferred payments. So how this coming? Because they have the data in the place, and after analyzing this data, they're coming with the communication part. So guys, now you have to be think that if in your family you have the 5 or 6 people, and everybody is using their own phone, and on everyone phone they have some their own likes and dislikes. So you can say after after half a month or 1 month, when COVID will be end, these people will be perfect in this particular stuff. So suppose nowadays people are start making their or the baking the stuff at home by using the YouTube channel. They're baking the golgappas, cake, doklas, jalebi, everything. So now you can say after 1 week or 1 month, these guys will be perfect, because they now you have a data that 70% of my 70% of time my mother working onto this baking stuff only. So after down the line, maybe 1 month or 2 months, she will be perfect in this stuff. So by the data and analyzing and the processing, you are getting this information. So this is the way that data science actually work into the practical into the world actually. Next one is the RPA. RPA is basically robotic process automation. In simple word, when you do the automation, when you do anything automatically, it become the robotic process automation. The normal example I can say, uh, like when you have to be okay, let's take a normal example. Earlier in the companies, when we people join, we have to fill a form on the paper, then we go to the some our desk and they say, okay, fill this form again, you will get your id, employee id, email id, everything. But nowadays what happening that they automate this process. As soon as the employee done the onboarding, he submit a form, his email id, his employee id, his desk number, his contact number, his desk phone number is automatic generated. They're not generating manually, they are just putting some software, some script on the place which do all this stuff. So if you say here that generally any desk job in our industry involves tasks that repetitive in the nature. So now let's take a normal example. When you call to someone nowadays, when you call to, maybe you call your friend, you get a message into the starting, hello, in the covid-19 situation, avoid the do the social distancing, don't stay home, stay safe. So how these things are coming, not everyone is going to pick up your call and these things say this thing to you first, and then you writing your call to the particular person. They put this into the place as the automation. As soon as you're dialing a number, click on the dial pad, they start the IVR message. That is called the automation basically. Or when, or if you say that you're calling to Amazon, maybe let's say you're calling to Amazon, Amazon say my all customers are busy, you can leave a voice message and we will get back to you. And when I leave a voice message and I get a call after 15 minutes, it means there is some automation in the place. My message has been recorded into that particular place and converted that particular stuff into a record, and then it come back to me as a call. So RPA, or the robotic process automation, allow you to automate such routine and repetitive tasks. So now what you can do, you can ask your teacher, sir, anything which you are doing on the regular basis, every time you have to do. So maybe like this thing, like every day your sir need to be send a meeting invite by 9 o'clock in the evening, so that by tomorrow session will be confirmed and the message should be go out. So you can ask us and automate that stuff, sir, give me the link only, or you have to just click the link here and click enter, it will automatically trigger the message to the everyone into the SMS form, into the WhatsApp form, into the Gmail as well. So your work will be over, your work, manual work will be over to copy paste the message into every WhatsApp group. It will be over now. So this is called the basically robotic process automation. And nowadays this is also a good place in the market to be learn and grow, because every company want to automate their processes. They want that less people should work in my company, or people should work in my company, but they should work into the more important topics instead of this the repetitive task. So in this manner they use the RPA. Okay. Next one is in another important point called the AI, that is the artificial intelligence. So I'm sure that many of you guys are using iPhone as well. Even I'm using the Android, and Android has the Google Assistant. I just press one button and say, hello Google, it bring information for me. Hello Atul, please dial Dr. Madhav Raul number, and Google dial it for me. Google Assistant dial it for me. How they're doing? They're doing from the artificial intelligence. They go and search into my in contact diary. They find the doctor's Madhav Raul number and dial it for me. But what is this meaning? That what is the AI stands here, that artificial intelligence is the branch of computer science that emphasize the development of intelligence machine. It means we are building the machines so much intelligent that they can work as a human work. So robots are the best example of the AI, I can say at one of time. Siri, Netflix. In the Netflix, how the Netflix work basically, suppose on the Netflix you watch Mirzapur and you like that particular series, then you watch some other web series and you like that as well. So next time Netflix give you the same kind of the series only, because that is becoming as the basis of your likes or dislike. Amazon Echo, Amazon Echo, like Alexa, you can say, Alexa, can you play a song for me? If you, maybe in the morning I get up and I say, Alexa, please play the Aarti, and Alexa play for me. Tomorrow morning when I get up, and before I say, maybe Alexa can bring a Aarti for me, because she know that between 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Atul always listen maybe the Aarti or the devotional songs only. So that is the example of the AI. So people who are be specifically who are very much interested into the in the or into the computer sciences, are interested into the machine part, this is a good place for them. So you can automate anything. So maybe you can set up anything in your phone as well by the artificial intelligence, and they can work for you into that particular sequence. So this is the basically example of the AI. Siri, Netflix, Echo is the example of the AI, which is behaving like a human being, but it is actually a machine for you. So you can try with the Siri, because a lot of people interact with the Siri nowadays. Even sometime when I have my friend have an iPhone, I interact with the Siri a lot of time. Siri, can you play songs for me? Siri, how are you? Siri, how's the weather outside? Siri, can you have a lunch with me? So these are the things I interact with the Siri, and the way Siri reply to me is the same way that human being has to be react on that particular stuff. Next one is that Internet of Things, that is called the IoT. This is the thing when, because nowadays everyone is interconnected with each other, every device is connected with each other on the internet. You, me are connected because of internet. If we remove the internet, there is a no purpose of having a good phone or a Zoom or laptop, because there's no internet, so we cannot interact. But nowadays people need a so much comfortable in their life that they want, if I start from home, I start from office, and before I reach to home, my AC should be on and my room should be chill. That is my requirement. That is a human being requirement. So at that time they come into the Internet of the Things. It means they just press one button in their on their phone, and your AC will be started at your home, and we start chilling at the things. So this is another example for this one is that, like, I download the Airtel remote on my mobile phone, and I'm operating the mobile phone as a remote for my Airtel, because I can do anything. I can touch, I can speak, and it is connected with the internet only. Wi-Fi only is the biggest thing. So Internet of Things is a concept connecting interrelated computing devices over the internet. So simple funda, you can connect anything from the internet into your on the devices. Maybe a normal example, a light bulb can be switched on or from the miles away using the mobile device. So now you have to be think that how you can relate your mobile phone with your light bulb, so that when in the evening you are sitting in your farmhouse or maybe in the farm, you can switch one button from your mobile phone and your light should be on in the home. Simple thing, right? So this is one of the example. You can use the networking, you can use the sensor, you can use the cloud, you can use the big data, you can use the artificial intelligence to build these kind of the systems. That is for the IoT. That is the best example, guys, I ever seen that. Because nowadays what happened that when I was searching for a flat in Pune, when I go to the builders, they show me, they say, sir, we have a smart flat. What is the meaning of the smart flat? Sir, we give you the one display on the entrance of the home. Just click on the display, lights for every room will be started. If you click one button, the AC will be started. If you click this button, your soi exhaust fan will be, or the kitchen fan will be started. So these are the things come into the smart things. And how they're connected? They're connecting with the networking. They're connecting with the sensors. They're connecting with the cloud and the big data. They're analyzing the stuff, and then they're putting everything into the together. So basically in IoT, two things are main. One is the hardware, one is the software. For hardware, you need the sensor. So if you want to build this example, switch on, switch off, you need to put some sensors as well. Microcontrollers, servers. And in softwares, you can use the data collection, which we discussed earlier, that data science, you can see that how I can pass my data from my phone to the my sensor, and then it switch on my light. And these are some common application, like for the environments we're using healthcare application, we are using educational application like e-learning, educational lab, and government applications which are using IoT. So now a video conferencing, it's like an example of the IoT. Everybody is connecting on the phone and we can see everyone on a single place. So this is the example of the IoT. So now you can connect your phone, your laptop, your tablets, your laptop, your TVs, everything you can connect through the IoT with the other devices. But you have to build that system. This is a technology only. But the thing is that you have to build the system by using the hardware or the softwares. Now is the big next term is the big data. Big data is the basically, as the term says, big data means a lot of data. It is something like the data science, but the way of function, the working of this big data is different from the data sciences. So big data basically say that any data which is a lot of in the massive volume, it can be structured and unstructured way, and help you to build give you some important information. So now I can say like Dr. Madhav sir or maybe Dr. Javed sir is there. They people start having they have the data of the last 10 years from the college. They start building something. Sir, by this particular area, guys or the students are topper for us. These guys are not a topper, but these are the middle class or not middle class. They are the good student, but not the brilliant student as well. So they are getting this data so that next time when these kind of students come into the college, they can put a lot of emphasis on that students and they can help them to grow in a better manner. So that is the basically concept of the big data, can be structured or can be unstructured. For teachers which are getting data from the college, it's a structured manner because everything has been stored in a proper manner. So like if we say everything you do online is now stored and tracked as a data. If you go to the market, it's a data. If you buy something, it's a data. So you can actually practical this thing. If you search something on the Google map and you go there, and when you came to home, Google asks you, can you give a feedback for that particular restaurant? Atul, you visit this restaurant, can you give a feedback? It means they are recording everything for you. And for Google, it is a data only, nothing else. It is a data for Google, and by that data they are seeing your way of working, so that they can give you more options. Like for me, I'm a pure vegetarian, so I always search for the vegetarian restaurant, veg restaurants only. Okay, so when I put in Google veg, so it give me pop up, this is a pure veg, this is a non-veg as well. It means by my interest, Google is giving me the lot of information now. And how the Google get this thing? By the way of the big data format, they are storing everything in their database as a data for me and giving me back on my like and dislike. But when you work in a big data, you have to remember this 7 V's. Volume, the volume. So the thumb rule said, don't take a lot of data which you cannot even measure it. So take a data which good into the amount, good in the volume, but you are able to do the some analysis on that particular part. Velocity, generation of data and organization ability to processing it, accelerating. It means how you can segregate or how you can accelerate, how you can make it data into the better format is become the velocity. Variety, how much data or what are the ways of getting the data, type of data. I'm getting a data from the mobile, I'm getting data for the laptop, I'm getting from the web servers, I'm getting data from the web searches, I'm getting data from the Siri, I'm getting the data from the TVs, I'm getting data from the Google search, everything. So you have to see the variety of the data, maybe photo, audio, video, free text, everything. Variability, the meaning of the word unstructured data can be changed based on the context. So now I see that I need the data only as per the COVID-19 context. So maybe I can see from the last 1 month, the air pollution rate has been reduced. The volume of the expenditure on the oil has been reduced. The roads are clean. The air is very much pure. That is the thing that I am taking this data into the context on the COVID-19 only. But if I take a normal life example, sorry, there's a lot of air pollution. There's a lot of traffic onto the road because the context has been changed now. Veracity, basically different data types and data sources. And then we have to be club that according to the and make it as a good quality data and systematic data. Visualize, when you do all these things, then it should be in a format where you can actually visualize your data. Is it giving any fruitful information or not? And finally, the value means when you get something from data which help you to make a decision or help you to build a decision is called the value of that particular data. So that is called the data must be combined with rigorous processing and analysis to be useful. So after doing it last 10 years data, Dr. Madhav and Dr. Another teachers from your college come on the conclusion that if we concentrate on the students coming from the XYZ villages, our records will be definitely shoot up and everybody in our college will be a brilliant student. So by analyzing the data, they are coming to that value. And when the 1 year they spend their time on those students, the result will be yes, positive. Then they say, yes, we are getting the right information, right value from the data which we get from the colleges. Okay, so this is the almost second last slide for me now. Cloud computing. So as of now, you see that everything which we discuss is basically on the internet or on the cloud or on the data part. So cloud computing basically when you store something on the cloud, and nowadays it is very much important. How and why I'm saying this thing? So now tell me, if you're using your Gmail, let's leave it example of Gmail, Google Drive. Can anyone tell me that where of the data, where is the data where Google Drive is saving now? It is not on a phone, it is not on a desktop, it is not on a laptop as well. So where is that data? That data is actually on the cloud, where it is actually is stored. And what is the meaning of the cloud here, and why the term cloud came? So cloud says is the network or the internet. Very simple, very simple. In simple word, cloud is something which is at a remote location. It means you cannot see that where it is be stored, but you can see your data. Cloud can be provide services over the internet on the public or private network, LAN, VPN, and LAN. So if I take a normal example, when nowadays when you go to maybe a lot of very less people go to the campus, or not campus basically, cafe, that internet cafe. So now the people don't have a CPU on the place. They just have a TFT screen on the place, a keyboard and the mouse. Then where's the CPU? They say my CPU is on the cloud now. A small setup is given to you to run that particular portion. The components is required. They installed in their TFT, or maybe they put some small box in the screen, but they don't have the hard drive into the CPU. They say my hard drive is on the cloud now. And how you can access the hard drive? By the LAN, VPN, or the these things. So now your email, web conferencing, customer relationship. So now as Akash is recording this session now. So where it is going to be stored? It will be stored into this computer, but he can move that particular recording into the drive as well, from where I can pick up. So this, where's the drive? It is not neither in my computer, my phone, neither on the Akash computer, Akash laptop, or the Akash phone. It is on the cloud now. And AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, are one of the cloud service provider who is providing the services for the clouds. So what is okay? So I missed one thing. Cloud computing is the way delivering the computing services. You can use cloud as a server to store the servers, storage, databases, networking. For anything you want to do, you can put on the cloud now. And that is the reason I say that if I go to this particular slide, okay, one slide more. Okay, so when I say IS, that is the cloud I'm saying. Cloud is giving you infrastructure as a service. Use my cloud. Don't worry. I'll make sure everything will be working for you. You can develop your stuff on the place. You can develop your stuff on the cloud. You can start using the cloud as your platform and start building your applications. You can use inbuilt cloud services, like I'm giving the 10 GB space, and I'm giving one server for application. Go and use that part as a services for me. So you can use these things as a service. Okay. So this is called the cloud computing. So Amazon Web Services is one of the service provider of the cloud now. So they say use my services and you can build your own application. So it's a cloud service from the Amazon which provides service in the building blocks. These building blocks can be used to create and deploy any type of the application on the cloud. So by using these buildings blocks, basically using these small clouds, you can build anything. You can create or deploy your application. So if I create my Gmail software, I can deploy into the Amazon Web Services. Sorry, Amazon Cloud as well, so that anyone who is using my service can their data should be stored into that particular place only. Okay, so Amazon provide me the compute services, storage services, content and network services, database services, deployment services, and the messaging services. So maybe these words are very heavy at point of time. That is, I'm not going to detail of these topics. You can just read these terms, and you can, when you start reading the Amazon Web Services, you can be learned into the deep of this particular service in these components in detail. Okay, last one is very much important. So how many of you actually know about the Bitcoin? Answer will be approximately 50%, 70% people say, yes, we know about the Bitcoin. because Bitcoin is like a cryptocurrency for me. The person who has just one Bitcoin at point of time, at given point of time, he was a $1 billion person, because the value of the Bitcoin is very much high. But how that Bitcoin actually work? It is a cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency means like, okay, normal example. So like we have a node, we have the, I say that we have the coins as well now. So it is a physical format. But now time has become that from physical format we have to go to the digital format, because if someone take your money, your note or your coins, you will be in the loss. But it is very hard to take a Bitcoin, to get a Bitcoin from my account to your account, unless I initiate a transfer for the Bitcoin transfer from my account to the your account. So Bitcoin is the one which is built on the technology called the blockchain. So blockchain says basically, so if you say this is a one of the block, right? So when this block one is related with this block, there should be some relationship, and they work on the. So this is called the Bitcoin is like a, sorry, blockchain is like a spreadsheet. It means, okay, I'll take a normal example first, then I come to this slide. Suppose I want to transfer some amount to Dr. Radhav, Dr. Madhav. Okay, so I initiate a transfer of 500 rupees. That 500 will be into the blocks. Will be on the network. It will be converted into the blocks, and every block will be represent a kind of a, sorry, every block represented a transaction. So like 500 will be, maybe Dr. Madhav name will be in the blocks. Then 500 will be in the blocks. My account will be the blocks. Dr. Madhav account will be in the blocks. So these things will be the transaction. Then there was one network, node of network, where these blocks will be interconnected with each other from the basis on the logic has been defined in the background. And then these blocks, when everything has been put one at a place, so suppose I say that transfer rupees 500 to Dr. Madhav. So these six correct, sorry, these six words will be divided into the blocks and become a transaction. These blocks will be in the broadcasted, where the some network will be there, where the some logic has been defined in the background with a hash, and once they will be combined again and added to the block. So if I say that this sequence is Dr. Madhav, this is rupees 500, this is for the transfer. So when all this has been clubbed, then it transfer my money to the Dr. Madhav's account. So this is the way that a transaction has been verified, and people are saying that it is very hard to hack or the break the blockchain logic, because what happened that blockchains work on the hash function. So I am sure that if you study data structure, in data structure we have a topic called the hash, and how the hash work. What is the hash? Basically, hash is a combination of alphanumeric, which is a uniquely created and help each and every transaction to be built up. So when I click enter on my laptop and another click on enter my laptop, and it go to the network. So hash from my laptop will connect the hash of the network and become a new hash. Then it go to the gateway, it become a new hash. Then it go to the another gateway, it become a new hash. Then it go to the Dr. Madhav's account, it become a new hash. So every place the hash has been changed accordingly, and there has been a logic has been mentioned into the background by which this has been worked. And it has been said that blockchain update the itself every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes the hash has been updated. So it is very hard to hack or break the this encryption of the blockchain at point of time. And this is the way that blockchain is working. Okay, so next one is the agile. It is not a technology, it's a methodology. Basically it is the way that how you can implement your stuff. So now you can see that if I take a normal example, maybe Dr. Madhav discussed this thing with the principal. Sir, let's start some sessions for the students, maybe for the first year student first. Then Dr. Madhav interacted with some of the higher authority or maybe the technocrat into the on the LinkedIn and say, can you take a session for my fresher students or my first year student? People say yes. The success, the session go very well, but he learned something new. Then he say, okay, I learned something new. Let's put the second year student as well. Then put the third year student as well. So this is the they're using the agile way. They're not starting the session for everyone on a given time. They learn the things from the one by one, or maybe they start with the third year, second year, and the first year. And now after getting a lot of experience, they say, sir, let's put everyone in the one session only. People can, we see from the past instances that students are listening, they are learning the things on a very good manner, so they can be do this stuff. We can include everyone in the single session now. So by this way they are using the agile, and by adding one cycle, two cycle, three cycle, they are using the sprint. So basically it's a very high level at point of time. You can get a little bit overview from this diagram or the little bit on the YouTube or the Google, that what is the agilement and how you can use that particular stuff. But it is purely a methodology, it is not a technical part. So these things you learn from the experiences always. And the last is basically ITSM. So when you want to start something, so again, I take example for that for these sessions only. First, principal sir and Dr. Madhav build up a strategy that if COVID-19 lockdown is for the next 1 month, so let's have a strategy. Let's have it 3 sessions in a week. Then they design first week, first day, first week, third day, first week, fifth day. So design something. Okay, first year, second year, third year, mechanical students, electronic students, computer students. Then this is the transition is going on, that I am transitioning my stuff to you. And operations, maybe tomorrow sir can take a quiz with you guys on the online. Okay, what you learned from the Atul sessions, what you learned from the X person sessions, and from that they will get something and they will do the again improvement. Okay sir, now we have done this thing, let's take someone from the IIT or maybe the IM from the management student as well. So by this way they are putting the stuff onto the place, but they are using a methodology called the ITSM. They are having the strategy, designing, transition, and the operation part. So now I'm almost done from my end. So before I say that it is over to you, you can learn the things from these two websites. Swam is one of the government website and Coursera. So there's a lot of courses available for the technology which we discussed just now. So you can download or you can learn online from these websites. These websites have a lectures or the sessions from the very high levels professors or the PhD holders who are putting their sessions or the recordings or the documents so that people can learn from the things. And now it's time for the feedback and the question and answer. So it's over to you, Dr. Sir. If people have any question, any doubt, they can ask.
Thank you so much, sir. Guys, if you have any questions, please put it in a chat box. Students, if you have any questions, please put it in a chat box. Hemant sir, are you there? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any questions, sir?
Hello. Yes, sir. I'm in.
Yeah.
Hello.
Any questions, sir? Hemant sir, any question?
Atul sir. Yes, sir. Will you please put some focus on Git and LinkedIn profile? Which important points we should prepare for the LinkedIn profiles we should maintain? The student should maintain.
Sure, sir. Sure. So one thing which is important that nowadays, if you want to connect with the people, LinkedIn is the best place to connect, guys. So remember one thing, that if you don't have a LinkedIn profile at point of time, it is very hard for you to get a job. I'll not say get a job, basically to connect with the people, because in LinkedIn profile you have to mention that what things you know and what profile you're looking for actually. If I say so, like me and Dr. Madhav connected over the LinkedIn only. So I saw his post over the LinkedIn that he's be working as a Maha training and placement officer as a governance body, one of the governance body person. So I connected with him, then we interacted with each other. He see my profile, he say, okay Atul sir, you have a good experience in this, can you come in my college and enlighten the students with the education or the other stuff as well. So very much important from me, guys. I quote this example every time that suppose you have a phone, it can be Android, it can be a your iPhone, but all depends on the network. In the same manner, either you have a MBA degree, MC degree, or BTech degree, all things has been depend all things has been depend only on the network. If you have a strong network, then it is easy for you to interact with the people and to get a desired job as well from in the market. So please, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, start building your LinkedIn profile. Put the things which you know, and also put the things which you want to learn, so that people can guide you that okay, you can learn these things, you can learn these things, this is the way you can learn. So nowadays I am helping everyone on the LinkedIn. If someone come to me and ask that Atul, I want to do these things, so if I know the best way, I can guide them. So one thing very much important, please build or create your these things, what I say, LinkedIn profile. Connect with each other, connect with the doctor sir, Dr. Madhav sir, and other your professors, connect with their connections as well, so that when you are going out from the colleges and you need some job, even though if you get some job and you want to be move forward, then LinkedIn will be the helpful for you guys. Sir,
Yeah. Sir, there are some questions in chat box, so I'll read for you.
I'm okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first question is it necessary to learn all the technologies?
No.
And yeah,
Okay, sir. I'll take one by one. So, guys, it is not necessary to learn each and every technology. The main thing is that you need to be know every technology at least as a basic part, and on one technology you should be a master.
correct.
See, you very clear on this part. Nowadays, you are a fresher. Okay, but every company say that my fresher should know all at least these technologies. So, like if I take example, IoT, AI, RPA, these things at least you should know that how this technology actually work. Not to be a kind of a master in that one,
Detail
because
actually
it take a lot of time, it required a lot of experience. But if you know these things, the basic, that how this can be done or how this can be implemented or how this can be worked, then it is easy for you to get into the market.
Hello, Atul sir.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Yeah, there is a very important question from mechanical students. How
Mhm.
mechanical students can get migrated in IT industry? What technology they should learn? Like,
Okay. So basically, if I understood correctly, basically from my perspective, mechanical students is the one who basically work on the machinery part, right? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay, or
yeah,
maybe you, because you are the mechanical students, you know that other than machinery also you have something to be work upon. So like I take example IoT. IoT needs everything. It needs your sensors, it needs your machines as well, and then it needs your technical stuff like big data, clouds as well. And by learning the IoT, you can move to the IT stream as well. So you have the good experience in the machines. You have the good experience in the that how to build that machine, how to integrate that machine, how to map that machine. Then you put your software skill, or you can take a help from the software guy or the software friends who can help you to build some softwares on that machine, and then you can be do that part. So if I take a normal example, nowadays what happened that we have a alarm like this. So as soon as the air there's some smoking things has been affected into the societies or into the campus premises. Okay, in that case the fire alarm has been started automatically. How this possible? Fire alarm is a machine, right? And we guys, the software guys, put some sensor into that particular stuff, and it become the IoT for me. So machine is the one thing. So you, the person from the mechanical side, can pick up that machine and understand that what I can put in this machine or the sensor something so that it can helpful for me. So maybe you can what you can do if you have your on your farm basically, and you have the motor there, so you can connect your motor with your mobile phone, so that in the morning at 7 o'clock you just click one button from your mobile phone, and by the sensing the water should be starting in your farm. This is the way you can be learn and grow into the mechanical with the IT combination.
Great.
Okay.
Uh, there
Okay.
is another question. Is there any career in automation for mechanical students?
Yes. Why not? So automation, see, robots are one of the example of the automation only. So that is a machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in these things that if you say, and don't be afraid about these things, that is any career in the automation or for the mechanical. So these are the fields where every domain is working at point of time. See, I am saying healthcare, one of the things, educational systems, finance, defense systems, every industry is using these technology, and the backbone is the mechanical actually. If you people not build up the laptops or the machines or the servers, then how we can proceed further? So you can also do the automation from that particular perspective as well. And automation doesn't mean that you have to do repetition, you have to be just reduce the repetitive task. Automation, you can do anything. So like say that on my Gmail I'm getting approximately 20 mails every day which is a spam for me, and I don't want the pop-up for these particular things on my mobile phone. You can do the automation for the same. Mechanical students can do the automation. As soon as the water level of my tank has been filled up, it should be stopped. Automation is there. So you can put some sensor there, and automatically it can be done. So if the suppose if after if one if after 1 hour the water is not coming into the tank, it should give alarm to me. It is automation, right? So mechanical guys can do these things easily because they know they understand the machine in the better manner, and then they can use the better things into that particular stuff.
Great, sir. The next question is, which technology is used nowadays in the market? Like which technology is having a high demand?
um, I must say there's a no bifurcation at point of time. If you search on the Google, every technology is on the demand. It can be your IoT, automation, RPA, artificial intelligence. It's totally depend on your interest where you want to build up your career. So I'm not the right person, or I'll not say that my comment will be 100%. But yes, internet of the on the things, or automation or artificial intelligence plus machine learning is on the top into the market at point of time, because every industry want to automate to reduce the human efforts and want to go for the perfection state.
Okay.
And
The next,
sir, I
yes.
have one question that is a privately pinged by Ujvala, simply about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is basically a cryptocurrency which is based on the blockchain. So blockchain is basically when you start any transaction, it is mainly for the currency part. When you transfer something from one person to other person, in that case, that technology has been worked. So nowadays, because Bitcoin is a digital currency, you cannot take it into the hands that Bitcoin. Like I have a note, I have the coins in my hand. So that is the hardware format. That is the physical format. Sorry, not hardware, physical format, which I can touch, I can see, I can feel. But Bitcoin is not that thing. Bitcoin is a digital format. So like your softwares, you cannot touch. So the same way Bitcoin you cannot touch. So to build that currency, we use the blockchain into the place, and blockchain work on the fundamentals called the hash, and hash is the fundamental of the data structure algorithm basically. So if you learn these things, you will get a little more idea about the Bitcoin.
Okay. There is one more question from mechanical student again.
Sure.
Many a times students get confused. Either they should get into production field or design section, and as they are not updated with upcoming technologies, so many times they get confused. What career path they should choose?
See, guys, if I okay, I'll tell my example here. I'm not example. I'll tell you my story actually. So in 2005, when I completed my BCom, I'm a BCom pass out, and then I done computer science, and then I go to that IT industry. So when I done my BCom, I have the two options. I can go for the MBA, I go for the MCA as well. And luckily I gave exam for the both, entrance exam for the both, MBA and MCA both, and I got the almost same rank in the both exams, and got almost same college into the for the same stream. But that's up to me that time where I have to be go. And with the God grace, I never regret on my decision now that why I opted MC, not the MBA. So it is totally on your gut feeling, I say. If you say that Atul, can you tell me what field I should pick up? I'm not the right person. I can guide you, which I did now. I tell you that these are the technologies available. I'm not a hardcore developer. If you can give me a normal example, can you write a program in C to add maybe, or maybe do some a little different logic into the C programming? I cannot write a program. Very clear on that part. And maybe you can make a fun of things that he's having 12 experience, but he don't know technology. Yes, I don't know the coding, but I know the technology, that how the things can be working to the market. And with my experiences, I learned this thing, and now I'm building my career into the particular domain part. So it is totally up to you guys that where you want to go. You can try one thing, that you can start learning 3 to 5 technologies in a parallel manner with the best interest, and then you can see that okay, in which field you're getting more interest, which gives you the more boost, which say your gut, your gut feeling is saying that to you. Then it is easy for you to be move that particular field. That is the best answer I can give at point of time, that guys.
Great. Uh, Another question, like how electrical students can learn the technologies, which are the best site for learning data science and other technologies?
I give two examples. Swayam and the Coursera is the best sites at point of time, because even I visit to the Coursera as well. Plus LinkedIn also providing some free courses. I am not sure that how it can be get it basically, but LinkedIn also providing the free courses of the same. Plus, if someone say this is the best site, don't believe. If I say go to this particular site, don't believe, because sometime to learn a simple concept, I have to visit a lot of sites. Best thing, Swayam, Coursera, and YouTube. Best sites, guys. Google it, verify it, and go it. There's a no website. If you say that how I prepare this presentation, I visit approximately 100 sites, then I pick up as per my best feeling. I pick up these things. So for me, every site is very best site. So which site give you the best interest or best information? It is the best site for you for that particular time period. Otherwise, there's no best site as of now, sir.
Yeah. Second thing is like it will be the last question. Will It's very interesting
Sure.
question, Dadar. Will AI, artificial intelligence, lead to increase the employment or decrease the employment?
Um, sir, after that, guys, I will take another 3 questions as well. I already have 3 questions as a private window. Don't ping more questions now. So this will after this question, I'll pick up from the private window as well. Okay. So I'll not say that even though you are in the colleges at point of time, you are worrying about this thing. It is increase or decrease that employment. But being a technocrat, being in the industry, I think it is not going to be decrease anything in the employment things. It will give them more opportunity to learn more things. See, nowadays I need to spend half an hour to create a ticket into the system. Let's take example. But if this thing can be done by by my robot or by my automation thing, it means that half an hour is free for me, and I can spend that half an hour to research something else. That is the best thing. So don't take a thing into the mind that it will decrease the deployment. No, it will increase the chances for more research areas. That is the thing. If you take the thing on the positive manner, definitely you will be always happy. If you take the things on the um, negative, you will be always depressed. So if this is the thing, I say that no, automation is reducing the employment, I should not work on the automation. One day you will be out on the market. Better if automation is working for you, you have a time to spend something else. You can get a time something else as well, and start researching and learning new things. So don't say automation done, everything has been done. You have the data sciences, IoT. Other people are moving from earth to the moon. How they're moving? Because they automate the stuff. That is, they're spending a lot of time in the other stuff now. Do go for the searching part. So take this as a positive. Don't take as a the as of the in the bad manner. Okay. So the next one, that is basically okay. IoT help the increase the business automobile industry. Definitely yes. So now my car is automatic. I just click a button on my from my mobile phone, and the lights has been on, the AC has been on, the window has been slowed down into the my car. That is a simple this thing. And if you think that the accelerator is going very much high on on into the your car, it give you siren beep. You did not put the seat belt, it will give you the siren beep. So these are things basically IoT, internet of the things, and these are the basic examples. You can put a lot of things on the things into that particular areas. Now that is what is data science exactly. Data science is the thing, you have a data, when you analyze that and you give you the valuable thing, it is a data science. And how to do that part is become the data science. So if I say that you want to search something in your house, so you have the different area. Let me search in master bedroom, living room, kids room, store area, my cupboard, mama cupboard, kitchen. So you have these areas. It means you have some data here. When you find something, it become, and when you get something from these areas, it become a data for you. The way to extract the meaningful data is become a data science for you. What is the how to start data science learning? Again, not best site, Google it or YouTube. What is the industry revolution 4.0 and what skills you suggest to adopt? Already suggested the things in the presentation. You can pick up that things, and these are not only limited technologies, guys. Don't come with the thing that only these are the limited one. These are the few one, because the time constraint I cannot be telling each and everything. You have a lot of things to be learned on that part. For implementation of the AI based project, which language? Sorry to say, I have no answer of this point because I never worked on the AI. Again, it's a machine learning is one of the things you can be get it on the things part. NLP, natural language processing things you can be learned and you can put in the AI part. Out of these courses are useful electric field. Up to interest. IoT is one of the things I can say for the electronics guys can be fitted. One of the things, sir, what there will be security, privacy, AI and IoT, how to overcome it? See, security and privacy totally on the based on the way the application has been developed. Even someone says that Zoom is not the secure, but still people are using. But Zoom say that I am building it so much secure, so much privacy, so that your data should be remain with you. No, it should not go to the outside. So it's totally depend on the way, and these things you learn from the experiences, that how I can make my application secure and secure. So I take a normal example. If I want to log in from home on my personal laptop, it means I have to be logged in to my official email ID. I have the two level of authentication. First, one OTP come on my email, and second OTP come on my phone. And third, I have a software installed on my phone. By combination of that particular OTP and the software, I log into my system. So that is the security they implemented. So it is up to the creator or the presenter basically that how much secure they want to build up their uh, application or the software basically. Okay, so guys,
Yeah.
I done from my
Okay,
end. I already pinged. So sure, sir.
last question. Like, what courses the mechanical engineering students should do to get into either in core industry or maybe in IT industry? So some advanced courses,
Mm, okay.
maybe like
See,
automation, IoT.
okay. These are the one thing. So I guess the person who asked this question, who pick up this term advanced courses, guys, my experience is if you want to go to the advanced level, then definitely we need to be start from the basics first. I read these stories somewhere that to learn something big, you have to be start from the basic. In the initial days when we were the kids, our teacher tell us to write A B C D. From A B C D we learn the words. then we learned the sentences, and then we learned the paragraphs, and now we're writing a lot of things. So writing a lot of things is the advanced one. So the basic you can see at point of time, the automation and the IoT best for the mechanical students, because these two things which require the combination of the machines at a point of time. So IoT as well, you need the machines, and you are the best people in the machines things, and you can put the software technology on the part, and you can learn the stuff accordingly.
Well, thank you very much, sir. It was really a wonderful session. On
No worries. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello,
Yes, sir.
I'm audible.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, sir. Tell me.
sir, yeah. With a lot of efforts from our head of computer science, Professor Kumbhar, we have received yesterday 5,000 free license of Coursera for our
Very
campus.
good. Very good, sir.
So I appeal all the students, like, you have a very good opportunity to learn Coursera on online platform, and that certificate has a lot of value in the market. So whenever you will be getting a notification from your head of the department, start registering and start doing those courses, because Coursera one certification costs 10,000 rupees minimum.
Agree. Agree, sir.
So
Agree.
one license cost 10,000 rupees. We have got it in a free of cost, and the credit goes to our HOD sir, Professor Kumbhar sir. And
Okay.
Kumbhar sir,
Great.
thank you so much for creating such a wonderful platform. As you took a lot of name of Coursera, so I thought to just bring it to the notice of the student. And
Thank
sir, thank you so much. Again, maybe once the situation gets normalized, we will be looking forward to have your session in the college. You are
Sure, sir.
really
Definitely.
doing a great work for the youth empowerment. You are contributing a lot for rural students' development. I really appreciate your valuable time, the way you presented. Thank you so much, and we'll be looking forward for a long and healthy relationship with you and between you and SVPM. So thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much,
Anybody
sir.
wants to?
And thank you so much
Kumar
to the
sir?
staff and the students who participated in the session. So guys, you can connect me over the WhatsApp if required. You can connect me over the LinkedIn, and you can connect me on the YouTube as well, because regularly I'm posting a new technologies and the new services, technology courses as well on the YouTube. You can connect. And as sir told that now you got a Coursera licenses as well. So please take a benefit of that one. Stay home, stay safe, and start learning the things. Other than online learning, nothing is possible at point of time. Don't go out of the home. Learn and learn. And definitely we will meet in person soon, sir, once the situation will be very much fine. Thank you so
Yes, sir.
much for the invitation, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
sure.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Bye.